The year was 1983. The Cold War gripped the world in a tense standoff. On one side stood the United States, a superpower with a vast arsenal of nuclear weapons. On the other side was the Soviet Union, its rival in this dangerous game of power. The fate of the world hung in the balance, teetering on the edge of a nuclear abyss. Stanislav Petrov, a lieutenant colonel in the Soviet Air Defense Forces, was the man on duty during the early hours of September 26th. He sat in a dimly lit bunker outside Moscow, his eyes glued to the screens displaying data from the OKO, the Soviet Union's early warning satellite system. His job was to monitor for any signs of an American nuclear attack. Suddenly, alarms blared, shattering the silence of the bunker. The computer system flashed a terrifying message. 5 American nuclear missiles were en route to Soviet territory. The unthinkable seemed to be happening. Petrov's heart pounded in his chest. He had mere minutes to decide whether to report this information up the chain of command, a decision that could trigger a full-blown nuclear war. This was a moment of unimaginable pressure, a test of one man's judgment against the might of 2 superpowers. Petrov's training told him to trust the system, to believe the data flashing before his eyes. Protocol dictated that he should immediately report the incoming attack to his superiors. But something didn't feel right. He had a gut feeling that something was wrong. He paused, taking a deep breath to steady his nerves. He scanned the data again, looking for any inconsistencies. The number of missiles, just 5, seemed too small for a full-scale American attack, and the system, as advanced as it was still relatively new and untested. Could it be malfunctioning? Against all odds, against his training and the insistent warnings of the computer system, Petrov made a decision that would change the course of history. He chose to trust his gut. He labeled the alarm a false alarm, a malfunction of the system. He did not notify his superiors, effectively stopping the launch of a retaliatory nuclear strike against the United States. His decision was an act of extraordinary courage and clear thinking in the face of unimaginable pressure. It was a decision that likely saved millions, perhaps even billions of lives. Petrov's story is not an isolated incident. It is a stark reminder of the ever-present danger of nuclear weapons and the terrifying possibility of accidental nuclear war. Throughout the Cold War, there were numerous close calls, moments when the world teetered on the brink of nuclear disaster. In 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis brought the United States and the Soviet Union perilously close to nuclear war. Miscommunication, mistrust, and the high-stakes game of nuclear brinkmanship almost led to catastrophe. Even a minor incident like the accidental launch of a single nuclear weapon could have spiraled out of control, leading to a devastating global conflict. The very existence of nuclear weapons, especially when coupled with the policy of hair trigger alert, creates an unacceptable level of risk. Hair trigger alert means that nuclear weapons are kept in a constant state of readiness, prepared to be launched within minutes of an attack. This policy, while intended to deter aggression, actually increases the chances of an accidental launch due to human error, technical malfunction, or miscalculation. The Cold War may be over, but the threat of nuclear war remains. The stakes are simply too high to ignore the lessons of the past. The end of the Cold War brought a glimmer of hope to a world living under the shadow of nuclear annihilation. Leaders like President George H.W. Bush took steps to reduce the nuclear threat. Bush's de-escalation initiatives included taking U.S. nuclear bombers off of high alert and withdrawing thousands of nuclear weapons globally. These actions, taken in the spirit of cooperation and a shared desire for a safer world, showed that progress was possible. They demonstrated that it was possible to step back from the brink, to choose dialogue over confrontation, and to prioritize the preservation of human life over the pursuit of military superiority. Today, the world faces new challenges, but the need to reduce the risk of nuclear war remains as urgent as ever. World leaders must work together to reduce nuclear stockpiles, strengthen international treaties, and move away from the dangerous policy of hair trigger alert. Reducing the role of nuclear weapons in military strategy, investing in diplomacy and conflict resolution, and fostering a global culture of peace are essential steps toward a safer and more secure future for all. The legacy of Stanislav Petrov, the man who saved the world by choosing peace over paranoia, should serve as a constant reminder of our shared humanity and our collective responsibility to prevent nuclear catastrophe.